Hi, welcome back to my story time with Nana. I have the last of the A Day with Grandpa stories. I think you're going to love this story. This story is about my grandpa. I'm not in this story, but it's still about him and my brothers. I think you're going to love this. Let's begin. A Day with Grandpa Coppola. The boys hadn't seen their grandfather in over 4 years, and they were very excited. Mommy and Daddy had sent Johnny and Billy to stay with Pop until they found a house in Virginia. Daddy had just gotten his orders from the Navy to the USS Saratoga. It was an aircraft carrier. Now, Pop lived in Orange, New Jersey, on Berwick Street. It was a two-story house with an enclosed front porch. Pop lived upstairs, and his mother, great grandma, lived downstairs with Aunt Philomena, Pop's sister. It was the best of both worlds. They got to stay with Pop, who was the wisest and kindest grandfather in the whole world, and great grandma Coppola, only the best cook in all of Orange, New Jersey. Aunt Philomena was a concert pianist, and the sitting room downstairs had 3 pianos, one baby grand and 2 studio pianos. Sometimes she would play Looney Tunes songs for the boys. One of the studio pianos didn't have any wires, so she could practice without disturbing anybody. Thud, 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 thud. The boys could hear some mornings while they ate their breakfast. And although the boys didn't know all of the people that visited Aunt Phil throughout the day, word was that Frank Sinatra was known to stop by occasionally. Back then, they didn't even know who Frank Sinatra was. Now, the only thing scary about staying with Pop was that he had 2 big German shepherds, Major and Duke. And when the boys, or anyone for that matter, tried to go upstairs where Pop was, they would stand at the top of the steps and growl, and they growled loud. Even Grandma Coppola couldn't go up the stairs, and she fed the dogs every day. The dogs only listened to Pop. Enough, he would say quietly from his chair, and the dogs would stop growling and move away from the stairs. The boys started school right after Christmas break. Now, it was difficult for them. They were new to the area. They looked different. They talked different. Some of the other children in their new school made fun of them. Walking to and from school was a bit challenging with the other kids who had grown up in Orange, New Jersey, teasing them. By the end of the week, Johnny and Billy were getting worried things were going to get out of hand. Some of the kids were threatening to beat them up. It was kind of scary. After a week, Billy finally said something to his grandfather. "Pop, Johnny and I are getting picked on going to school," Billy told him. "Some of the kids even said they were going to beat us up." Pop said, rubbing his chin stubble. "Well, fighting never fixed anything. Did you agree to fight?" "Oh, no, Pop," Johnny told him. "We just ran home." "Well, running doesn't solve anything either. Maybe we can come up with a plan," Pop told them. "I think these kids just need to get to know you." "I don't think they want to get to know us, Pop," Billy answered. Let me tell you a story about when I was a kid. Now, I was raised here in Orange. I grew up in this very house with my sisters and brothers. My brothers and I walked to school too. There were times when some of the other boys in our school started picking on us. Well, really, they started picking on me. Kids can be mean sometimes, But usually it's just their own insecurities or fear of being picked on themselves. Anyhow, sometimes on the way home from school, if I was on my own, some of those boys would chase me all the way home. I would beg my brothers to make sure they waited for me, but you know brothers, they don't always wait on their baby brother. Anyhow, one day I was walking home alone and a bunch of boys started teasing and picking on me. And I ran and ran and I ran behind the school and I hid in some bushes. I crouched down hiding and listened to the boys calling me out, wanting me to fight them. I was scared. And when they left, I stayed behind the bushes just waiting, just to make sure they were gone. And then I heard a sound. I couldn't figure out what it was because it was so quiet. It was a whimpering sound. It was behind me. I twisted around, and up against the brick of the school was a small puppy crying. I picked him up and tucked him into my shirt, and I walked home quickly, peeking over my shoulder, looking for those boys. Now, at first, my father told me to put the puppy out. I couldn't keep him because we couldn't afford to feed him. But I promised I would take care of paying to feed the dog on my very own. I did odd jobs around the neighborhood to make money. I named him Major. I know. Major is a direct descendant of that puppy. Anyway, once baby Major grew up, he would walk me to school and back, and after a while, the bigger kids stopped teasing and chasing me. They were afraid of my dog. One day while I was leaving school, one of the boys who had picked on me asked me about my dog. How does your dog know when to meet you after school? He wanted to know. I told him that I had trained him to come to school to walk me home. This kid thought that was the neatest thing and asked if he could walk home with us. Now, I'll tell you, at first, I was pretty skeptical. I thought he was just trying to find another way to pick on me. But he really thought Major was cool. You know, the way he knew how to come and get me, what time he needed to be there. Anyhow, this boy and I became really good friends. As a matter of fact, all of the kids started coming over to meet Major, and soon I wasn't being chased anymore. Those kids became my friends. You see, we found something in common with Major. And once we all got to know each other, our differences made us a unique group of friends. I have an idea that might make your walk to and from school better. Tomorrow, Duke and Major will walk with you to school and after. I'll bet by the end of the week, you have friends. Do you really think so, Pop? Johnny asked. I really do, he answered. Remember, you're new here. These kids just don't know you. Sometimes kids act tough so they don't get their own feelings hurt. You're new, a curiosity. Maybe these kids really want to get to know you. Let's give them something to talk to you about. Duke and Major. Everybody loves dogs. So the following Monday, Johnny and Billy headed out to school. Major and Duke led the way. All the way to school, kids ran to get away from the German shepherds. They were a bit intimidating. And then again, that afternoon, when Billy and Johnny walked out of school, Duke and Major were there to walk them home. So, how did it go? Pop asked when they got home. Well, no one bothered us, Johnny told him. But I don't see how this is going to help us make friends. Everyone just seemed afraid. Give it time, Pop answered. Now go wash up for dinner. Grandma made chicken cacciatore tonight. The next morning, on the way to school, the boys saw the group of boys who had been teasing them walking on the other side of the street, looking at them, watching them. Hey! One of the bigger boys yelled. Are those your dogs? Yeah! Johnny yelled back. Do they bite? Only if you're mean, Billy yelled back to him. Can we pet them? Sure, car, Johnny called out, waving his hand. And so on their second day of being escorted to school by Major and Duke, Johnny and Billy made friends. Their new friends weren't mean at all. And even though they were different in how they talked and how they looked, they found something that they had in common. Pop was right. Everybody loves dogs. 2 months later, Mommy and Daddy came to get the boys. They had found a house and were moving to Virginia. The boys were sad and excited. They had made a lot of friends in the last month or so, and they were going to miss them. But they were so happy to be going home with Mommy and Daddy. Well, boys, it was wonderful having you here, Pop said as they loaded into the car. Before you leave, I have something for you. I think it will help you make some friends in your new home. He handed a big cardboard box through the window, and Johnny and Billy squealed with delight. Pop had given them a German Shepherd puppy, and he looked just like Major. What do you think they named him? The end. What a great story. So, even though you look or talk different from somebody, there's always something that you have in common that can make you friends. Try it. I hope you enjoyed tonight's story. It was the last of the grandpa stories, and I love them all. Don't forget to share my stories, and next week I'll have a whole new series for you. No spoilers. You'll just have to find out next week. I'll see you then. Mwah.